In episode 1, I used the Tibetan rainbow body phenomenon to introduce the notion that resurrection is natural. Dr. Einstein, in his world-famous equation E = mc squared, supports the claim. According to the equation, energy and matter are complementary aspects of each other. Thus, rainbow body and resurrection are the return of matter, M, to a primordial energy source, E. Resurrection is an energy release, just as Shroud research indicates. The notion of a human body radiating away is soundly rejected by all but a few Shroud scientists and scholars. The few in acceptance do so with a caveat. It's a miracle. Classic science makes no allowance for a human body radiating away. Now, science can be divided into two branches, classic and modern. Classic is concerned with macro objects, which exist independent of mind. The science follows the work of Sir Isaac Newton, who died in 1727. That's a long time ago. New insights have since emerged, but are ignored in Shroud inquiry. Modern science emerged in the 1900 to 1930 period under the revolutionary thinking of Einstein and his peers. Here the focus is on the micro-objects, atoms and subatomic particles. Classic science is concerned with placing a man on the moon. Modern science wonders if the moon would still exist if everyone stopped looking at it. Modern science requires man to develop an entirely different view of reality. Classic science will have nothing to do with it. In the classic view, the human eyes are held to be video cameras which capture the motion of objects that are out there. How the objects got out there is of no concern. The idea that something out there, for example, a human body, could vanish from sight is ludicrous. To even suggest such a thing is looked upon as the height of gullibility. Those who do find themselves eating lunch alone. Thus, Jesus' resurrection is labeled a miracle. Now, modern science sees the world differently. To the modern scientists, the eyes are not video cameras. They are signal receptors. Man sees nothing. What he does is point his eyes in a particular direction in order to receive reflected light. Using the central nervous system, the so received light is transformed into electrical chemical impulses in the brain. The impulses are then interpreted by the brain-mind complex, whereupon, lo and behold, an image of the object that reflected the light to start with appears in the stream of consciousness. This is the way the senses really work. That which a person is aware of is an interpretation that resides in the mind. It is the interpretation, a true representation of what is out there. We hope so, and rest in confidence that it is, since onlookers all agree on what we see. Even so, the operative word is interpretation. The mind, like an athlete's muscle, is trainable, and the brain has plasticity, giving the person the capacity to interpret as he or she wishes. Researchers at the University of Florida once taught a rat brain to operate an F-22 fighter jet simulator. All I'm saying is that with proper training, Sugar can be made taste like salt. A tree appear as a rose bush, or a human body an illusion. Everything that comes to man through sense perception is an interpreted result, and it exists in the mind. This notion is gobbledygook to classic scientists, for they reject the role of mind in reality. Modern science emerged in 1905, beginning with Einstein's theory of special relativity. Here we learn that everything known is known relative to something else. That is to say, the only way I know I am short is by comparison with something that is tall. Shortly after the release of special relativity theory, Einstein revealed his now famous equation, E = mc squared. The equation is commonly thought of as a recipe for an atomic bomb. It actually means that energy, E, and matter, M, are but two sides of the same coin. When looking at an object such as, say, a tree or another person, you're actually looking at energy that has individualized into bulk and form. Einstein himself tells us, mass and energy are but different manifestations of the same thing, a somewhat unfamiliar conception for the average mind. Furthermore, for as much as the word energy is bandied about, we know not what it is. Colorful American theoretical physicist and Nobel laureate Richard Feynman, 1918 to 1988, reminds us, it is important to realize that in physics today, we have no knowledge what energy is. Furthermore, energy always was, and it always will be. There are no words to describe it. While I may not know what energy is, I do know that when I lift a box from the floor to eye level, I increase its mass by the amount of energy I expended in doing the lifting. That is because energy and mass are one and the same. The relationship between energy and mass is a game changer. It adds new perspective to reality, one which accommodates a human body radiating away. In order to bring that understanding to a lived experience, one must change the way brain impulses are interpreted. One must be able to look through physical diversity, Einstein's M, and find sameness of primordial energy base, E. Resurrection is actually energy changing form, transforming from something that manifests in bulk and form to something that is intangible and ineffable, which we call primordial energy, for lack of a better term. Classic-minded scientists and scholars, not to mention theologians, simply lack the capacity to absorb this energy-matter relationship. That notion that everything of sense perception exists in the mind and is interpretable is a challenge also. The bottom line is this: to have classic mind sense evaluate the shroud is like having an escapee from the nut house repair a computer software glitch. To declare resurrection a miracle is tantamount to saying that Jesus needed divine intervention to accomplish what others do on their own. You know what? I don't think that's a very nice thing to say about my hero. Shroud research indicates that Jesus' body vanished from sight in a shower of radiation. That is, we can say that it denuclearized. The Tibetan Buddhist rainbow body phenomenon validates that, in fact, it is possible for human bodies to denuclearize. The Buddhists use a mind training practice called Dzogchen for realization. Christians have their own instruction set. It is found in the Gospel of Thomas. The Shroud confirms the teaching, and we'll cover the Gospel of Thomas later on in the lectures. The Shroud's message is earth-shaking. It ushers in a whole new understanding of reality. Mind is central in human experience. The message is far, far, far too important to be hostage to outdated blue-collar science. Understanding requires modern science and its philosophical bent. Wrong science produces wrong results. And in this case, the wrong results are tragic. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe and like buttons if you like what you see. I'll catch you in the next lecture. Thank you.